Over the past 3 years, I've learned so many strategies on how to grow my collection that I'm finally going to share with you today. So let's get into it. What's going on YouTube? Flipping Out SC coming at you with another new video. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 strategies that'll help you take your sports card collection to a whole new level. Now, I know there are many of you out there that have bigger and better collections than I do, and a lot have been collecting a lot longer as well. But I believe these 5 strategies can assist anyone in growing their collection, no matter how long you've been collecting for. So without further ado, let's get into it. With strategy number 1, know your sports and stick to them. Now, what I mean by this is it's a lot easier to buy, sell, and trade in a sport that you love and are passionate about than it is to buy, sell, and trade in all sports when only knowing a small amount about each. Obviously, you don't need to only stick to one sport like I do, with mine being mainly hockey, but I would suggest keeping it to 1 or 2 main sports and maybe dabbling a little bit in other sports while you're at it, if you so wish. But why I really say this is from personal experience. When I got back into the hobby in 2021, I noticed that my favorite sport to collect was the sport that had the smallest amount of money moving around in it, and I got greedy. I wanted to play with the big dogs, and buy, sell, and trade the sports that had the biggest cards, so I got into football and basketball cards. I also bought F1 because it was popping off, and I even bought a couple NASCAR cards. What happened? Well, because I knew so little and was only following trends, my collection went basically nowhere. I didn't know the products, parallels, or players well enough to really grow in that sport, and my collection lacked direction. I made a few decent plays on cards, but I lost out on many because I really didn't have enough knowledge to be buying and selling in that sport. So like I say, no need to stick to only one sport, but I would suggest trying to gain all the knowledge you can in maybe 1 or 2, and your collection will thank you later. My second strategy is to move on from base cards, for the most part. This strategy is fairly recent, and comes with good reason. If you've been fairly active in the hobby for the past few years, it's most likely that you've seen and or heard others talk about the fact that products are becoming so overproduced. I mean, in the hockey world, it's fairly obvious that Upper Deck wants to cash in on the Bedard hype.
He's out there to begin this power play, and here's Connor Bedard! Here's Bedard off the stretch, quick shot, and he scores! Plays the rebound for Bedard down low. Bedard! Lacrosse style scores! Unbelievable!
As well as in the basketball world, Panini wants to cash in with the Wemby hype.
Making 6 of their 8 threes. Wembanyama! Oh my God! With the advantage, Smith. Oh my! Blocked by Wemby. Blocked again. Wembanyama. Oh, goes.
As they should. Everyone wants a piece of the action, and these two are bringing in so many new collectors to the scene that it only makes sense for them to print enough product to match the demand, or even slightly exceed it. But with that comes super high population numbers. Now, I'm not saying to never buy a base card again, as for some, base may be all they can afford, and you should really buy whatever you like to collect. But when it comes to the difference between collecting and investing, base just isn't the play anymore. There's too much of it. To really take a closer look at this on the hockey side of things, let's search Bedard Young Guns on eBay, while also searching 2 of the other biggest names in hockey with their Young Guns, Crosby and McDavid. When looking at Bedard's Young Guns listings, we see that an unfiltered result comes with over 2,600 results. McDavid shows over 2,100, and Crosby over 1,200. But as many may know, all of these gents are included on the Young Guns checklists from their given year. And aside from that, people will put big names and Young Guns in their titles or description without actually selling the card itself to boost the views they get on their listings. So if we filter these results down even a bit further by adding the card number of their base Young Guns, which essentially should filter out many of the fake results, well, maybe taking a few real results with it, we'll see that Bedard still has over 600 listings, McDavid has over 300, and Crosby has under 100. And one is to think that the majority of the product that Crosby and McDavid are included in has already been opened, while there are still tons of cases of 23-24 Upper Deck Series 2, the product Bedard Young Guns is listed in, sitting sealed. If we dive even a bit deeper and look at Gemrate.com's list of top hockey cards graded all time by PSA, we see that 4 of the top 7 most graded hockey cards of all time are base Upper Deck Young Guns from the past 5 years, with Bedard being the second most of those 4, with the 5th most graded hockey card of all time already. And his card only hit the open market 4 months ago. McDavid's Young Guns is the 15th most graded card of all time while having the 12th most PSA 10s. And Crosby's Young Guns is the 81st most graded card of all time with only the 46th amount of PSA 10s. For those who don't know, McDavid's Young Guns came out in 2015-16 and Crosby's came out in 2005-2006. This goes to show the large discrepancy in how much of each product was produced and graded over the years. One other thing to keep in mind is that when Crosby was a rookie, Beckett was the first choice of many when it came to grading hockey cards, so his numbers on the PSA website may be much less due to this fact. But even just the eBay search should show enough data as to how many Crosby Young Guns exist in comparison to the other 2 players. Either way, All of this to say that sadly not even graded cards of ultra modern players are guaranteed to hold tons of value moving forward. There are just too many of them. The third strategy I want to speak to is to use all of the platforms available to you. Our hobby is a massive landscape of companies that are there for our ease of buying, selling, trading, grading, and more. There are so many different options, so how do we know which one to use? And my answer to that is use all of them. The hobby isn't just eBay or Facebook, it's not just ePack or physical, it's not just PSA or Beckett or SGC. It's best when you use all of the options at your disposal. For buying, use the sold comps and listings from eBay to get better prices when buying on Facebook, where the seller saves on fees. Or use eBay to find and purchase those super rare cards that just don't come up on Facebook. When it comes to ePack and physical, use ePack for the fun achievements and the ePack exclusive parallels, but go support your physical shops for products you can't find on ePack like SPA, The Cup, or even OPG. And when it comes to grading, send your standard modern cards to PSA, your thick cards like patch autos to Beckett, and your vintage stuff to SGC. There are so many other avenues and different sites and groups you can use to level up your collection, like even my card post for trading, COMC for buying in bulk, and Ship My Cards for saving on shipping from the US to other countries. You shouldn't limit yourself to just a few resources. Use all of the resources at your disposal and get the most out of your collecting journey. So many things in our hobby aren't one or the other like so many people make it out to be, and by using a combination of different resources, you can grow your collection much easier. Just do your research on which one is best for you and go from there. The fourth strategy is something I hold near and dear, as it's something that has really helped me level up my own collection this year. Strategy number 4 is set goals. Without really thinking about it, I set a goal sometime within the past 3 years when I started PCing the golden or rainbow speckled foil cards of Matthews, McDavid, Crosby, and Ovechkin. I only started picking these cards up back in 2021, but over the course of the past 3 years had nearly acquired each card of each player currently in existence. It was a pretty tough set for me to complete, as some of the cards were quite expensive to purchase and even harder to create due to the lack of stock left on ePack where one needs to create them. However, after finally getting the last few pieces to complete the 2017-18 McDavid Golden Rainbow Foil this past summer, I only had one card left to acquire, the 2016-17 Gold Rainbow Foil of McDavid. Well, in December, I got the last missing piece of the puzzle when I traded into what was once a Grail card for me. Now, for obvious reasons, I was on quite the hobby high for some time. However, as per most, that high soon faded, and I found myself without direction. I was aimlessly buying cards to flip and really felt little to no desire to continue in cards. The speckled set was the only goal that I had in the hobby since returning, and it was complete. I seriously didn't know what to do with myself. Thankfully, with January right around the corner, my wife asked me if I'd like to set some 2024 goals with her, and I said sure. While setting those goals, I decided I'd set a few new hobby goals as well. And that is where the birth of my Legends on-card auto PC was born. If you've seen that video, you'll know I'm quite excited about this new part of my personal collection. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it above so you can take a look. Now, not only did I set that goal, but I decided to set 2 other smaller goals as well. I'd start a small vintage hockey PC, as well as try and get all of my speckled or golden rainbow foil cards graded, while upgrading at least one of those cards from a 9 to a 10 this year. These new goals have really re-sparked my interest and love in the hobby, while simultaneously setting me up on a path to level up my own collection this year in ways I never thought possible. So if you don't already have a goal or two yourself, I really encourage you to try setting one and seeing where it takes you. Now before I get to my last strategy, I have a bonus strategy for you. The bonus strategy is to subscribe to this channel. I'm doing my very best to drop all of the knowledge I have here, and I'm going to keep trying my best to create bigger and better videos every few weeks. From what I can see, almost 92% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. But please know that subscribing is completely free and really helps these videos reach more people while also assisting me in reaching my goals. A quick click of the button would be much appreciated. And you may as well like the video while you're at it. And finally, my last and most important strategy of all is number 5. It's a hobby, act like it. What do I mean by this? Well, in our lovely hobby, from time to time you see egos flare, people get scammed, and overall nastiness come out. And personally, I can't stand it. What I would like to see in the hobby moving forward is kindness, respect, and a general sense of humanity towards our fellow collectors. Use your manners, try and be fair, and overall remember that this is a hobby and it's supposed to be fun. I personally love to lose myself in hours of trading and searching online for good deals. I love a good video that transports me from my boring 9 to 5 and puts me into the world of a hobby shop where people get so excited ripping new products. And I am so grateful for the friendships that I've cultivated with others through this hobby. At the end of the day, we're all human, and we're all in this for fun. A fun pastime, a fun way to grow an alternative investment portfolio, or, for some, a fun career. Being kind is simple, and no one wants to make deals with people who aren't kind, so let's keep it fun and take care of each other. So there you have it, my 5 strategies for leveling up your sports card collection. I hope these made you think, and gave you some good ideas for how you can grow your own collection. I look forward to hearing some success stories in the coming months for having put some of these tips into practice. But until next time, we'll catch you on the flip side.